All right, we were a little jazzed about the potential for the Epstein files to drop last week, as Attorney General Pam Bondi had promised, and then it was a lamentable display, a bit of a dud, worse than a dud, actually. It created sort of a spectacle around the release of information having to do with perpetrators of horrific crimes. And Attorney General Pam Bondi was, pissed off, to say the least, that it appeared the Southern District of New York FBI office had been withholding information from her office for these files. So last night on Fox News, she explained what she did to retaliate against the agency that works for her, let's not forget.
And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear, because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. There were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York. Yep. So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 254.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday. Yeah. But Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. Sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day, it's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
And that goes the same with the JFK files,
JFK,
RFK files,
Martin
MLK.
Luther King. Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What are the things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but we'll see. Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years. So yeah, it's really, it's not sad. It's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they can't. It's a new day, and we believe in transparency, and it's going to come out. And when we redact things, Sean, what we're going to do is not just pull pages out like they used to do. If something's redacted, you will know the line, and you will know why it's redacted. A victim's name, identifying information of a victim.
So am I the only one screaming back at the screen right now? His Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, who seems to be awesome, and I like her, and I know people who have worked with her, and she seems like a really good person, but she's sitting there saying it's infuriating that these people thought they could do this. They work for you. Hopefully we'll get all the information now, and then we'll release it. We'll just redact certain things, but I feel like we've really got it now. Just stop talking about it and freaking do it. And I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath. And it's not like it's anything that's important, right? It's not like this guy is presumed to be some sort of asset from either our intelligence community or a foreign intelligence community that actually exploited these young girls to be able to get dirt on powerful people so that we could leverage them and use them. Oh, that's nothing. That's not anything that we should be suspicious about or conspiracy theorists about or anything. So, when this sort of escapade happens, it doesn't perpetuate our worst suspicions or anything like that. For God's sake, I mean, don't come out here and say anything to us unless concrete, you've got it, and now here it is. Oh, it's frustrating. Because forgive me for thinking that even when we get whatever they give us, we're not going to believe that we're getting the truth. Hey, how about this? How about a real investigation into his death? How about investigation into the circumstances that led to his suiciding himself? I'm a supporter of this administration, obviously. I want things to get done. Things have gotten done. I don't like this. I don't like the way this is going on and the way this is being handled. I'm as frustrated as you are, and you got to be honest about it. You got to be real about it. And the way this is continuing to roll out for you. I mean, there is one upside about this. Look at this guy. He's going to be the hero. This guy is going to be the new martyr for the cause. This is the head of the FBI in the Southern District of New York. And look he's right out of Central Casting. He's got the cheekbones. He's got the haircut. He's got the square jaw. He's got the upper body strength, it appears. This guy's name is Chief James Dennehy. Julie Kelly gives us the lowdown on him. He sent an email to his colleagues a month ago after Trump was sworn in and after Kash Patel was named as the FBI director. He urged resistance to a request by the DOJ for the names of all FBI employees involved in January 6th cases. He's a 22-year veteran of the FBI. He bounced between SDNY and FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. In the February email, Dennehy compared rank-and-file revolt against Trump DOJ directives to being in a foxhole. He's a former Marine. It sucked, but it worked. He warned it was time for him to dig in to defend the Bureau from the new boss. Today, we find ourselves in the middle of a battle of our own as good people are being walked out of the FBI and others are being targeted because they did their jobs in accordance with the law and FBI policy. On Friday, it appears that he was the person who withheld this information. Pam Bondi asked for his resignation, and he has delivered it. That's why he's going to be the martyr now. He'll be everywhere. He'll have his own show. He'll write a book. He'll do appearances with James Comey. These guys, they're always using this language that they need to protect the institution. They don't swear an oath to protect the institution. They swear an oath to protect the Constitution. And when the institution is running afoul with the Constitution, well, then the Constitution needs to come first. The Constitution says that he works for the Justice Department, who works for the president. And if they order him to do something, he better well damn do it. And he didn't, because he wanted to protect the institution. And also, there's one other thing he's protecting. All of these people who are trying to withhold information about Jeffrey Epstein, ultimately, they're protecting people who exploited young girls for sex. Are you proud of yourself, pal? I'm sorry, can we look at you again here? It says you're a Marine. You're the chief of the FBI Southern District of New York. You consider yourself a hero because apparently you withheld information about men who exploited little girls for sex. And you're proud of that? You think that this is some virtue? This is some heroic thing that you've done? Cable news will make him a hero. George Stephanopoulos will make him a hero. Here's Jesse Waters on a little bit more about him and his leading of the resistance against Donald Trump there within the FBI.
So who's in charge at the New York FBI field office? Who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General? James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork? The FBI seized computers, surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those files? You remember where Epstein killed himself? I asked Bill Barr about that, why everything seemed to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. Cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around.
All right. So you get the picture. And good job, Jesse Waters, there, trying to sort of crystallize all of this. As we continue, and I'm sorry for being frustrated with Pam Bondi, Attorney General. I have no doubt she's doing the best job possible, but this is not about PR. This is not about television appearances. Let's do the work, get the information, and get it out. We've been waiting for years for this information. Years. And no matter what they deliver now, it's going to feel like it's a prop in some way, that it's just for show. And that's unfortunate, because every single time Jeffrey Epstein and all of his co-conspirators on his private plane flew down to his island and walked into a room with a girl who has been sex trafficked, they were breaking the worst, vilest laws that we can ever imagine. These are disgusting, despicable crimes against innocent girls. And sadly, this whole spectacle of getting the list, we want the names, we want the names. I don't want the names for gossip. I want these names because they should be punished. I get frustrated when people in the FBI and the Justice Department don't treat this like a crime. They treat it as like, well, this is classified information and we really can't release it, and it wouldn't be fair to the grand jury process. He was arrested for the most despicable crimes against little girls. He apparently killed himself in prison. Then his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, she was arrested. She was tried. She was convicted. Who hasn't been arrested ever in any of this? The actual men who exploited these girls personally, who sexually assaulted them. That's who's on this list. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm a Pollyanna. Maybe I think that better of our government and our law enforcement. But maybe we should stop parading around with binders in our hands and trying to do Fox News appearances and promising that we're going to release all this information for prurient purposes, and instead treat this like the crime that it is. Maybe we should have some grand juries. Maybe we should start arresting people. Maybe they should actually be facing prison time as well.